5, 4, 3, 2, Once more, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We warmly welcome you to Lenovo Tech World India 2026. We kick off the event with this exhilarating short video. To welcome you and share Lenovo's vision for India, please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Shailendra Katyal, Vice President and Managing Director, Lenovo India.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone, our customers, our partners, my friends from media, our alliance partners, our worldwide leaders. It's my honor and privilege to host you all for the 5th edition of Lenovo Tech World in India. It's become our annual property. It's an opportunity for us to showcase our wide range of solutions to our customers and partners. And I'm really glad that you're able to spend this time with us. I know I'm competing with lunch, but hopefully we'll keep you wide awake over the next 2.5 hours. We clearly have a lot to show and tell over the next few sessions that I have for you. I must also say hi to, I'm told there are about 1 million people who are watching this stream live on social media. And that just shows how big this event has become over the years. It's become so big that we had to break it up into 2 days. So yesterday, this room was full of Gen Z people. We had some very active booths for fan engagement with gamers, with creators. We had a very active soccer zone. So yesterday was buzzing, and I'm sure today will be no different. So welcome once again. And this is what inspires us, right? I think we are at this beautiful intersection when, as a company, we look at India, the sheer economic powerhouse that India is becoming, the amount of digitization that we see, and we look at the technology disruption around us. So, as a tech company, we are very inspired and very excited. Obviously, we've seen a lot of success in India. We've been around for 2 decades now, but we're even more excited as we see India unfolding into its AI-led decade. It started last year, and we do believe that India will be very different by the time we are seeing the end of 2035. And clearly, it's been building over time, right? It's all of us have been in the industry long enough. It's not new. India actually started showing up on the IT on the IT map of the world in the early 90s, and we had our Y2K moment. Now, the amount of contribution that we make to software services and engineering services on the planet, it's not small by any standard. Many reports would say that 1 out of 10 software or engineering talent now comes out of Indian shores. So it's clearly something that we have built over the last 4 odd decades. If we look at digital inclusion, and remember we are a very large country, 1.4 billion people, we did not have a digital identity. We did not have social security in a very organized way. There are a lot of people who are still outside financial inclusion at a level. But the amount of progress we've made now, and just in a short span of time, right, started not too long ago, maybe 15 years ago, and now true inclusion where everyone has a Aadhaar, there's UPI, the whole India stack that we speak of so proudly. And the fact that we can do very small micro transactions, we can just flip our phone out. We've become virtually a cashless economy. So quite inspired by the progress the country has made on digital inclusion. We were an agrarian economy. We jumped to IT services. Manufacturing somewhere was not on the map, but we are very encouraged with whatever we've seen in the progress with Make in India, all the initiatives that the government has done, incentivizing more production and India, putting India on the manufacturing map of the world. And yeah, we are making in India a lot as a company as well. I'll cover that in a bit. But we are not doing it for the domestic consumption alone. India is on the map, not just us, but for many industries. India is on the map from an export point of view as well. And we are now at an inflection point. Like I said, there's disruption around us. Hybrid AI is a reality. AI has to get diffused. It has to move from the cloud into our hands. It has to become real application. And if you look at the current language in terms of the five-layer cake of AI, we do feel India will have an important role to play in all five layers, from the silicon level to AI applications and non-AI applications. There's no other country which has the demographic dividend and the kind of engineering talent we have to offer true AI services to the world. So quite inspired as we speak as a company here. And we've been around. We were around from 2005 with the acquisition of the IBM PC business. We've made very rapid progress, and we do believe we've played an important role as the economy has digitized, as India has become a digital powerhouse. In our own way, we've played an important part here. Covering that in a little more detail, and many of you are in the room, when we look at the top 100 companies in India, uh, two-thirds of them are our customers in one way or the other. We have a wide suite, so you would be taking some or other part of our portfolio. If you look at unicorns that have got created in India now, there are more than 100. Again, two-thirds of them are our customers. And we've caught them young. We've seen them grow from a small garage to a unicorn kind of valuation. On the consumer side, and this number keeps changing, especially with the rapid growth we've seen in PCs, tablets, and phones. 1 in 50 Indian homes is a Lenovo or a Moto customer. So again, a statistic we are very proud of, that we've been enabling penetration of technology into the country. And we have so many now millions of happy customers as we speak every year. Make in India, yeah, it's a relatively new topic for the country, but guess what? We as a company have been making in India since 2005. We've had our captive plant in Pondicherry, and it's only grown from strength to strength. And now, if I look at across the competitive set, no other company has this kind of pocket to cloud manufacturing footprint in India. So we are making Motorola phones, we are making Lenovo tablets, we are making PCs, and the newest kid on the block was our server manufacturing line that we set up in Pondicherry. So fully committed to make in India. We are also leveraging it for domestic consumption and also exporting phones and tablets out of India. And remember, the contribution is not just about the technology that we're giving, it's also livelihood, it's about people getting skilled in advanced electronics manufacturing at a level. We started leveraging India for our R&D. We have about 18 R&D labs across the world, and we have two of those now in India. We have about 400 engineers who work on the latest Motorola phones that we launch every quarter. And we set up a new server design lab in 2024 in our Bangalore facility. So again, state of the art, very nice engineering facilities. Any of you want to come and see the facility, happy to host you. And also very happy to share that we've already filed more than 600 patents from those facilities. So we are getting recognized. We are a diverse company. We had many R&D centers, but India is also firmly on the map in terms of leveraging our engineering talent. If we've been around for 20 years, we've also been a good corporate citizen. Obviously, we provide livelihood, we provide employment. But as the foundation of the economy is becoming more digital and we have that demographic dividend, how do we train people to be ready for the AI world? We are playing our part there. More than 10 lakh students over the last decade or so. We empower now lakhs of students every year in different topics, whether it is in electronics manufacturing, whether it is in AI skilling, or even basic digitization of the classroom. So quite happy with the progress that we've made. We've become a reasonably large company. We are also growing at a very fast clip. We just announced our global results this afternoon, and the India results should follow by tomorrow. So really appreciate and thank you for your business. And like I said, we are even more excited about the next decade of growth that we can have in the market. So that's all I had to share for India. It was a quick introduction. Now zooming out, going back to the global stage. It's my privilege to invite Matt Zielinski. He's the global president of our international markets, to share a little more about our global vision for hybrid AI. Matt, if I can have you on stage.
That's a much younger looking AI version of me. I might need to shave my beard. I think that's inspiring. Whoever made that, that's should be in fashion. Anyway, hey, Dhanyavad Shilendra, thank you very, very much. And welcome everybody. I am so thrilled to be back here in India and especially excited to be here with you in New Delhi. And look, this city is the starting point for so many of India's biggest decisions and boldest innovations. And it really is the perfect place to talk about the era of AI and all that lies ahead. And today, AI is no longer simply generating answers and creating content. It really is learning how we think and how we work. It's learning not only how we think and how we work, but it's increasingly sensing context and taking action in real world and in real time. And for individuals, that means AI can amplify creativity, it can sharpen intuition, and it can help focus on what matters the most. And for organizations, AI can learn from your data, it can adapt to your processes, and it can evolve alongside your business. And we're already seeing what this looks like in practice, including right here in India, where the public and private sector is embracing AI as a tool for real progress. Many organizations are feeling the pressure right now to really keep up the pace and make sure they're not falling behind. And how you put AI to work matters just as much as what AI can do. And at scale, AI needs to run across different environments, different data sets, and use cases, and often all at once. So the real challenge isn't capability. It really is architecture. It's how you deploy it. It's where it runs. And most importantly, how you do all of that securely and at scale. And that's where a hybrid approach becomes truly essential. Hybrid brings AI together in all three forms of intelligence. There's personal AI, which brings intelligence closer to individuals in the devices they use each and every day. There's enterprise AI, which allows organizations to apply AI to their own data and on their own terms. And there's also public AI, which delivers massive scale and shared innovation. And this model allows for these elements to work together in harmony, running AI where it makes the most sense for the use case, whether it's in the cloud, on-prem, or at the edge. And more importantly, it means choosing the models that fit your business, keeping the data where it belongs, and having the flexibility to adapt as needs change. And look, one of the biggest questions we hear from customers today is defining where that intelligence should live. Some AI workloads benefit from the scale and innovation of the cloud, and others need to run close to where data is created, where speed and responsiveness really matter. And some need to stay local on trusted devices or systems. And the mistake many organizations we see making is assuming there has to be a single option. And in reality, forcing AI into one environment often creates a lot of new problems. Latency where speed matters, and cost where scale explodes, or risk where trust is truly critical. And this approach changes that equation by letting intelligence adapt the technology around your business instead of forcing your business to adapt around the technology. Another challenge we hear everywhere is security and privacy. Organizations want to move fast with AI, but they also need to protect sensitive data. And hybrid AI removes the trade-off of having to choose and allows innovation and trust to coexist. It's also how AI becomes practical, scalable, and how it becomes truly democratized by giving every organization access to the right tools in the right place based on their needs. That matters even more in a country as diverse as India, where organizations are solving different problems at different scales. And AI is moving quickly, and the foundation we build today has to support what comes next. And that foundation opens the door to the next evolution with agentic AI. And if hybrid AI is about where intelligence runs, agentic AI is how intelligence works across systems, devices, and moments. It's the natural next step to unite context, coordinate actions, and move the work forward. And that step is only possible when that foundation is already in place. At Lenovo, we're already moving this down the path. And later today, you'll see a super powerful example of this direction with Lenovo Qira, our new agentic AI experience built on everything that hybrid AI really makes possible. It demonstrates how intelligence can act more naturally on behalf of individuals, and it reinforces an important point. When done right, hybrid AI enables new ways to put AI to work. We're not talking about a technology trend here, folks. We're talking about an operating model that lets organizations move forward with confidence and put intelligence to work on their own terms. Lenovo is uniquely positioned to bring hybrid AI to life, and it underpins our mission of delivering smarter AI for all. As you'll hear more throughout the day, we combine global scale, a full stack portfolio, and world-class partnerships to deliver hybrid AI across devices, infrastructure, and services. And we're already doing it. On the personal side, we're leading the AI PC revolution with devices that just don't respond to you, but they also learn with you. On the enterprise side, we're delivering full stack infrastructure from GPU-dense servers to edge AI solutions running in factories, hospital, and retail environments. And across it all, we deliver the services and software that help customers move from pilots to production and keep things running at scale. That's the hybrid AI advantage Lenovo brings to market. We know customers need to see value fast. Programs like AI Fast Start, where organizations move from idea to real business impact in as little as 90 days. It's happening now, and we're building it with our customers every day. If you want a real-world example of this in action, just look at Formula One. Every race weekend, Lenovo helps F1 teams move over 600 terabytes of data, everything from telemetry and tire pressure to track conditions and driver insights. And in F1's data centers, that data runs through Lenovo's servers, storage, and AI infrastructure in real time, turning raw information into smarter and faster decisions. In F1 data centers, Lenovo's liquid cooling technology is also driving results, cutting power consumption by up to 40% compared to traditional air cooling methods. And that's the impact. Compute where it's needed, insights when they matter, and infrastructure built to scale. What Formula One illustrates, like no other thing can really illustrate, is another example across industries that this approach does the hard work behind the scenes. And AI is here. The opportunity now is to turn it into real impact. And that's what hybrid AI enables and what Lenovo is built for. India is such a critical partner in that journey. And we're proud to be alongside working with you as we shape the future of how AI is developed and deployed together. So thank you so very much. And look, before we leave the stage here, I'd like to invite my Lenovo colleagues and alliance leaders on the stage: Amar, Samir, Shailendra, Jeff, Scott, Fan, Vinay of AMD, Santosh of Intel, Savi of Qualcomm, and Bhaskar of Microsoft for a quick ceremonial picture, I suppose. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Right here. Thank you. Good to see you. Well. Okay. Actually, I will see you in a bit. Okay, buddy. Sorry, I didn't say my handshake. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Mark. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. To separate AI reality from hype and provide an independent global point of view, please welcome Mr. Steve Brazier, co-founder, Canopy, and Informa Fellow.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to all the viewers on video. The AI animations do make us look younger and more beautiful, so thank you for everyone who did that. It's my job in about 15 minutes to tell you what's going on in the tech industry. The tech industry has always changed quickly, but the rate of a change keeps accelerating. It's a hard job to be an analyst. It's a hard job to be a CIO. It's a hard job to be a channel partner. And just understand the amount of change that we're seeing inside our industry. It's been extraordinary since the moment that ChatGPT launched at the end of 2022. AI is the fastest adopted technology of all time, faster than the rise of smartphones or Netflix or any other example you can think of, the internet itself. OpenAI, ChatGPT definitely wins in terms of total number of users, but Gemini from Google has really given them a scare as it catches up very quickly, both in terms of functionality and users. This is not yet a market where there's one winner. It's a market where there's an awful lot of competition. Something like 25% of the world are now using AI on a monthly basis. 25% of every human alive is now having a subscription or using an AI service. If you're not using AI every day in your own life for work or for pleasure, there's only one message. It's time to retire. And what we're also seeing is that many people are willing to pay for their AI services so they get ever greater performance. This revolution is not going to happen. The revolution has already happened. And it's had amazing consequences for the structure of the technology industry. Last year, the four big hyperscalers, AWS, Google, Meta, and Microsoft, spent around 330 billion on investments in data centers. 330 billion. Imagine any of the countries, even a large country like India, if the government stood up and said, we're going to spend 100 billion on railways or hospitals. Everyone would say you can't afford it. But the hyperscalers can afford it. And then last week, I'm still in shock when they announced their financial results. Those four companies have said, we spent 330 billion last year, and this year we plan to spend over 600 billion. It's an industry in its own right that has appeared from nowhere. Is it a bubble, you all want me to answer? And the answer is it's not a bubble, because these companies have the cash flows and they can afford to spend their money. If they decide they're overspending, they just need to slow down the rate of expenditure. They can make that decision, but it's not a bubble that will lead to a dot-com crisis because they can afford it. Where there may be a bubble is the emergence of neoclouds, often driven by ChatGPT, OpenAI investments, emerging to serve the enormous needs of compute power that OpenAI in particular has developed. The neoclouds were a feature of last year and will continue to keep spending during 2026. And then I'll talk to you more as we go on through this presentation about the emergence of the third category, sovereign AI. Around 62 billion spent last year, and we expect that number to rise very quickly. The world is changing, partly because of one man. Let's just say his policies are erratic, and the rest of the world has to deal with those policies. And we are starting to see an impact of some of that behavior. And the best example so far comes from France, where they recently announced they would no longer use Teams or Zoom in the public sector in the government of France, and instead adopt a local technology from a company that until last week or 2 weeks ago, none of us have heard of, called Visio. This is about keeping government communication secure, private, but it's also about saving on the license fees sent over to the American companies and instead investing that money in the local tech startups, Visio being a French company. One of the interesting things about trade, which I know India and the US has been arguing about many countries, is when the US talks about a trade deficit, it talks about trade deficit in goods. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, software was sold on CDs and DVDs, and it was a good. But what happened was software moved to become a service. And as a service, it's not counted in the trade deficit for goods. And if we looked at the US trade numbers, and netted out goods versus services, and particularly if we looked at profits, the US would no longer have a trade deficit, it would have a trade surplus. But anyway, that's the situation we're now dealing with. We are starting to see countries develop their own tech solutions and own sovereign AI, and India can be and should be and looks like it will be at the forefront of this. The projected capacity growth in AI data centers in India is going from about 2.3 gigawatts by 27 to a massive 8 gigawatts by 2030. And that will be a combination of the big global hyperscalers putting data centers in India. And we've also seen the announcement now of the tax holiday come out for data centers, allowing India to be an exporter of AI services to other countries in the world, as well as the emergence of the neoclouds and sovereign AI. When we think of AI today, we mainly think about consumer activities, and the success in AI so far is all about the consumer. But it will change, and we'll start to see it deployed by businesses. But we shouldn't also forget that it will be deployed by the defense sector, by the security sector. This is vital national interest. And you probably, particularly the way the US has behaved in the last few years, do not want to outsource your vital national interests to another country. And so what we'll also see is vertical integration of the data centers. The need for data center owners to own the whole stack, to own the land, to own the energy supply, to own the building, to own the equipment inside the building and the software on top of that building. And that is where the opportunity is in India and where we're going to see massive expenditure growth. The biggest challenge for the US and for India is the supply of electricity, the supply of energy, because the growth in data center spending requires so much energy that we're starting to take it from regular people, and competition between do we heat homes or supply energy to homes, or do we power our data centers will be a major political challenge over the next few years. The need to create renewable energy, which India has taken off in the last 12 months, will be essential for competitiveness in AI data centers, because low cost energy will be essential. And the biggest outcome of Trump's presidency may be to leave the US behind in terms of availability of cheap energy and leave them exposed and not as competitive as they should be. Sovereign AI is not just about nationalism, it's about risk management, ensuring continuity of service. Consumer AI has been incredibly exciting already, but we saw last year many examples where enterprise AI adoption was much less exciting. Many projects failing, as the MIT published in a famous report. And why is that? Well, our friends in Silicon Valley love to hype the next technology. Now it's all about AI agents, and they do a brilliant job of innovating, of course they do, but they tend to not think, as Matt referred to in his presentation, about some of the consequences of the technology and the need for security and data privacy inside most organizations. The need for accuracy of information is critical to many organizations. You do not want to look in your bank account and see how much money you've got and found that something's hallucinated and told you the wrong amount. You want it to be exactly right. So enterprises are struggling with how do they keep data secure? How do they know that their data that they share with an AI engine is staying secure, not being shared or training other AI systems, perhaps leaking to competitors, that it can't be hacked? These are all major challenges for enterprise adoption. But actually, what the biggest challenge for enterprise adoption is deciding which LLM to go with, because they're changing so quickly. You might bet $100 million on one solution and in 6 months find they've fallen behind and you should have gone elsewhere. How does anyone make that decision? But also, do you go LLM and deploy a major solution in the cloud? Or do you deploy your own SLM, keep it on premise and closely managed? Because the SLM models are moving very quickly in terms of their performance. So there's a lot of questions for enterprise to understand before we can see adoption. But that was a speech from last year, because something has changed really in the last few months and the last few weeks. And while OpenAI and ChatGPT is the leader in consumer AI, Anthropic has stolen a march in enterprise AI. I think we're starting to see an emergence where OpenAI started using, as we saw at the Super Bowl, advertising in its AI services, becoming the Google of AI is its vision. Whereas Anthropic said no advertising, we want to be the Microsoft of AI. Already Claude has won in terms of coding. No coder now should be writing without AI, and most of them are doing it on the Anthropic platform. And then very recently, we've seen Anthropic start to move into areas very specialized around sales and marketing, data analysis, and legal. If you have a court case and your life depends on it, I very much suggest you get human advice. You don't leave it to AI. But if you've got a minor employee dispute in your company and you want to understand your legal position, AI can already answer that better than a lawyer and virtually for free. And we're going to see that taking out of the base level of work in each of these services move very, very quickly. I'm an optimist. We know jobs are going to be lost, but we also have to believe, as the technology industry has done through the PC launch and then the internet and all the rest of it, that we will also create new jobs. If you're looking for inspiration, think of sport, think of cricket. When I was growing up, cricket was managed by 2 umpires. Now it needs TV networks, storage, analysts, fast video. There's probably 50 or 100 people managing a top cricket game now. We create jobs as well as we lose jobs, digital marketing, prompt engineers, etc. So we are now seeing adoption of AI in these specific use cases inside the enterprise. India has access to more talent, engineering talent, software talent than any other country in the world. Please use it wisely. But let's also learn something about how software companies are run. And every company needs to be a software company. Every company needs to be an AI company. The wrong way to run an enterprise AI adoption policy is to call up one of the big management consultants, say, we want to go on an AI transformation journey, can you help us? Write out huge checks, set a 3-year plan, and see what happens. That is absolutely the wrong thing to do. The right thing to do is get a group of engineers, and when I say a group, I mean 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Say, can you re-engineer our customer service? Let them go for 3 months, 6 months. No, not 6 months, 3 months. Let them go for 3 months, come back and see what they can do for you. Then launch it. If you get great adoption, you invest more. If you don't get adoption for whatever reason, you don't invest more. That is how software companies work. Even today, that is how Google works. That is how Meta works. Lots of small teams given little projects. Some work, some don't. If they work, you invest more. There's no excuse for any of your companies not taking that competence internally and running those experiments. And you have such an asset in terms of availability of staff. Think small and then become big. We will see revolutions from companies who move quickly and deliver small services that grow into big services. And then finally, I have to finish on a slightly negative note or challenging note. I've talked about this massive spending last year and even bigger spending in AI data centers. The big 4 alone for spending over $600 billion. And for those of us who invest a little bit, we should have worked this out a year ago. It shouldn't have been a surprise, because suddenly, with all that consumption of semiconductors in those AI data centers, there's a global shortage. Not just a global shortage, a chronic shortage. It's most extreme in RAM, memory, but it's equally extreme in flash storage, NAND. But also processors are under pressure. There is such credible demand for our technology. The size of the AI data center spending now by the hyperscalers is already bigger than the rest of the technology industry around the world in terms of hardware sales, just to try to illustrate it. So this year will be remembered, one, for the AI revolution and moving into the enterprise, and two, from the fact that when you want to deploy new projects, whether with PCs and laptops, smartphones, gaming, automotive, IoT, you're going to have very long lead times and prices are going to rise. Those of you planning projects, get the orders in now, because this situation is only going to get more and more difficult during 2026. The big will find it easier than the small, both in terms of suppliers as well as in terms of customers. That's where the priorities will be. But we're going to see shortage everywhere. We'll see an emergence and more demand for refurbished products, because that will be the only thing you get hold of. And that it will be a very practical challenge impacting all of your businesses going forwards. That brings me to the end of my time. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Steve. To set to motion the enterprise AI segment of this afternoon, please welcome Mr. Sumir Bhatia, President, Infrastructure Solutions Group, Lenovo Asia Pacific.
I wonder if that's really accurate. Good afternoon, everyone. Beautiful to be here. Great to see you, Steve. Hard act to follow, but I'll try my best. Lovely to be in the capital of India. It's always a pleasure to be here. And if I can say, since I'm in here in Delhi, probably the food capital of India too. If I would you agree with me? Yeah, the Delhi people would. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here. So welcome to this India edition of Lenovo Tech World. We are doing this across Asia Pacific over here today. I'm very excited to talk to you about the enterprise AI. So what we heard earlier from Matt clearly tells us one thing, and that is AI is no longer a question of it, if, but when. And Steve talked about this too, encouraging everybody to get into this. It's not when or if, you absolutely have to get into it. So let's look at the hybrid AI is the ultimate path of AI democratization. Matt spoke about personal AI, enterprise AI, and the public AI. I want to just lean a little bit more into this. So if you look at the public AI, every one of us have actually used it. Is there anyone here that has actually not gone into a query and asked about the enterprise or the public AI? But when I go around and talk to CIOs like yourselves, everybody has this question: how do I make sure that I'm secure? I use this that my data is secure. And this is very, very important to everyone to make sure that they're able to actually leverage AI, ensuring of the security. The second part is the personal AI. Personal AI, how do I go and help my employees be more productive? How do I bring out productivity out there, which actually runs into my bottom line? I was talking to someone yesterday and they said, oh, there's a lot of productivity, but it's probably not helped out on the bottom line. End of the day, that is productivity. That will lead to the bottom line. But how do I do this absolutely securely? That is where Lenovo has actually come up with the hybrid AI. It is the absolute ultimate path. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, how we bring this all together to get you into that journey of hybrid AI. So enterprise AI, it's absolutely what are the essential requirements? Uneven execution, and Steve touched upon it. He talked about hallucinations, talks about sometimes AI can actually give you a really good answer to big things and maybe not sometimes to small things. Think of a coworker as an example, can give you something about quantum physics, but probably doesn't know how to tell you how to staple a paper. That's what it could actually lead to. So AI is absolutely, there's a lot of things uneven. So you have to be very clear. Governance. And I know, earlier mentioned, let's go and do little projects. Let's go and do things. But governance is so absolutely important. Unlike if you looked at the cloud era, where everybody jumped into the cloud, departments went into it. Governance is very, very important because of one thing, data. How are you using that data? And what's the outcome that you want from it? Second is that one thing that you're all seeing is basically talent readiness. There's lack of talent. And how do we go and increase this? Because this is another essential requirement. And last is data integration. Data integration because data is siloed. It's all over the place. What data do I use? These are all questions that are essential requirements. And if I put all this together, the most important thing, which is an aspect of every one of those three things, is trust. And trust is a lot of things. It's not just about privacy. It's about ethics. It's about compliance. It's about energy. All those aspects of it. How do we go and put this all together? These are aspects that everybody actually has to look at. So, as I said, enterprise AI starts with data. Cloud, data center, and edge. Depends on where your data is. We at Lenovo want to make sure that it's very important to have the infrastructure close to your data so that you can get the inference, you can get the outcome faster. You want to make sure a customer actually walking in here, could be this hotel, gets the best possible service because they are a customer, a VIP customer. Let's take a flip side of this. You want to look at security. You want an inference right now. So being close to the edge is very, very important. So bringing it all together is where the enterprise data starts. Enterprise right from cloud, data center to the edge. So let's capture the opportunities here. And I really talked to, enterprise SMBs, cloud service, AI training on the cloud. I want to shift actually into AI inferencing on-prem. A big shift, and Steve kind of spoke about this, about all those cloud providers. Where's the shift? The shift will actually happen in the inference side. By 2030, about 75% of the infrastructure will move into inferencing. And 80% of that will actually move to the edge. Now, if you look at all aspects of training and actually using an outcome in the inference is a huge opportunity. Look at this, because you need to go down that road. And it's, as Steve said, and this is something that we talk about, is start small to go big. You don't have to go take a bulldozer and say, let's go and do something AI. It is about focusing on something small and going and growing it. But make sure that the inference part of it will take teams together, will ensure that we continue to focus on areas which is important to you and pick very carefully. Look at data. Sometimes your low-hanging fruit, where you can get an outcome, and sometimes your low-hanging fruit is watermelons and can give you a great ROI from what it is. There was another interesting thing is that what is the ROI? We talked about earlier, everyone going into these projects, doing science projects. But today, organizations on inference are talking about what my outcome is. What's the faster response will I get? How will it help my company? Do it's just agents and chatbots? How will I help my customer? It's not just about building a new science project, something cool, but it's really an outcome to make sure that decisions are made in milliseconds. So let me just talk a little bit about the Lenovo Hybrid AI Advantage. What is the Lenovo Hybrid AI Advantage? Very simply said, it's to make your journey easy. And if I'm not trying to be too simplistic here, but think about this, an organization that can come to you and help you plug and play this solution. Now, the hybrid infrastructure, data and knowledge, all aspects of it. Now, hybrid infrastructure, as we mentioned, across all those three foundation models. In the cloud, on-prem, on the edge. There is today no company on the planet that can give you a device, a smartphone, infrastructure in the data center, in the cloud, all together. And this is where hybrid infrastructure is very, very important. But also what's very important is that it is complex. How do you manage this? We launched the XIQ platforms, which actually helps you to manage across these platforms. It also helps you to build up agents, AI models and agent platform, which helps you to actually make this very, very easy for you. Take a step further. You as a vertical, you could be, Steve gave an example of cricket. And I know we all love cricket here. But say you're in the sports industry and you want an AI library, specifically an outcome on sport. That's something that's available. You don't have to recreate it. If you're in transportation, you're into manufacturing, you can actually go into this library to pull this up. You have the infrastructure, take out your solution. IXQ platform will help you to manage that infrastructure. But let's take it further. I talked about skill sets, which are difficult. Skill sets can be difficult. We can actually bring in with our AI services right from advising you to implementing it, to managing it. And most important also, as you are getting into this AI, just remember one thing, there's every organization, there's usually two states you can be in, especially in the AI world, the wave that's coming. You can either be a disruptor or you can be disrupted. What do you want to be? You want to be a disruptor. However, you can't take this for granted. Even if you're a disruptor, you can be very easily disrupted by an organization that's actually leveraging AI. So what that brings in is, how do I adopt it? I haven't budgeted for it. I don't know many CEOs that go up to a CIO whose role, by the way, is really changed and says, here's $10 million, do something on AI. Does that ever happen in any of your organizations? No, right? So there's sometimes it's not planned, but you have to take an outcome to reach a customer. And this is where something like where Lenovo TrueScale as a service also comes in, where we can provide an entire, what I spoke about, an end-to-end as a service. So it's very elastic. You have a cloud-based elasticity when as a service model, which is the TrueScale as a service. So AI in India. So current state of enterprises using AI in India shows progress. And, Steve kind of touched upon it. It's very exciting, but also unmet needs and huge potential to accelerate AI adoption and scaling for enterprises. That highlight starts here. 87% of enterprises are actively AI solutions. That's huge. When I come out here, you feel that buzz. When I talk to customers, I've met a few customers over the last few days. Some of them are in this room. It amazes me the kind of work that's actually done in AI, the amount of digitization. And I have this opportunity to go around in other countries. It's quite amazing. So 87% of enterprises are actively using AI solutions in some form or the other. 26% of Indian companies have achieved a maturity at scale. And it's growing. Now, this doesn't mean that you're end-to-end AI, but there's growing. There's an absolute path to leveraging AI, a lot more than many other countries that I go to. So AI in India is absolutely a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for all of you in this room to grow and thrive your organizations. All right, innovating for the world. And moving from AI ambition to AI at scale. We are a global organization. Matt talked about this. We operate in 180 plus markets, more than 30 manufacturing sites around the world. But most important, operational rigor on the ground here, localizing in India. Shailendra talked about that. So we do bring global scale. We do bring expertise with that local flavor into India. And that's a value that we actually bring in around AI, bringing a complete end-to-end solution from the pocket to the cloud in a hybrid AI in the mantra, which is smarter AI for all. Sorry, yeah. All right. So I think I'm having a. All right. So, as I end this talk, I'm really actually pleased to bring some perspectives into the panel. So we will actually have a panel, and I'm excited to introduce leading voices in the enterprise AI space in India. I'm pleased to invite to the stage, as they set it up over here, Fan Ho, Executive Director and General Manager of AP Solutions and Services Group, Bhaskar Verma, Co-founder and Chief Business Officer at NextGen, and last but not least is Ashu Kakkar, CIO of L&T Technology Services. Please do come up to the stage. Right, thank you for joining us. Exciting times with AI. Can I start with you briefly introducing yourself? I know I brought you up stage, but I'd love to hear a little bit about yourself. Maybe Ashu, we'll start from your side.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, all. Myself, Ashu Kakkar. I'm working in L&T Technology Services as CIO, and our company is mostly working on engineering and research and development. Our customers are in the various segments like mobility, high tech, and sustainability. We are deep on AI right now. When we are doing a customer conversation today, everybody is talking about how AI can help us in doing our business better in our respective domains. So that's a charter we are driving it, and that's a brief intro about me. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Bhaskar from NextGen. We are a 14-year-old in India now. And this has been started way back in 2012. We started journey with the data centers, moved on to the cloud, and obviously we took that path to AI now. We are one of the major players in the country, especially with the India AI mission and also a lot in terms of deploying on the enterprise AI space.
Last but not least, Fan. I run the Services and Solution Group for Lenovo Asia Pacific. And as it implies, right, we're trying to make the technology as easy to implement and as powerful to actually extract the value. So very excited to be here today with you all.
Thank you all. So look, AI has clearly moved beyond experimentation. Obviously, there's some experimentation going on, but organizations have started implementing. We've had a number of conversations. And now CIOs, as I said earlier, have a very different role. They're accountable for execution at state. I think you're in the driver's seat right now to see where the organization goes in the future. The real challenge is no longer if AI works. I think that's a challenge, but how fast, how safely, how securely. So I'm going to talk with all of you, really on the real world execution across infrastructure, cloud services, Fan, I know very close to your heart, and of course, outcomes. So Bhaskar, the first thing to you is, as a cloud and AI services provider, what's your reaction to our hybrid AI advantage? We're talking about, end-to-end infrastructure and all the other aspects around it. What are your thoughts around it?
Yeah, when we talk about AI, right, it's never one single model what we see. Obviously, there's a lot in terms of what we hear from the hyperscalers, neo cloud providers, in terms of they're the one who does what you call the heavy lifting of the bandwagon of AI for that matter. But if you really look at from the AI adaptation, we have seen in slide from Matt where he talked about a personal AI, enterprise AI, and the public AI. And when you look at from the consumption, right, it's never one single model that we can just go to a public provider on AI, think that we have solved everything or that is only model what we have. We need to have in terms of the enterprises, I'm sure Ashu will agree with me, it's not so easy that you can just open up your data to a public AI player. And with all the security and privacy challenges, you can't really do that. So there'll be an option. Obviously, it's not an option. I think it's mandated that we all move into hybrid. Hybrid in the sense that what is that you're doing on-prem in terms of your inferencing things. Maybe you'll use a cloud burst of AI in terms of your LLM models. And more importantly, what we've seen, especially with the tech executives and also the employees back in our organizations, a lot of us actually use the personal AI. We don't really come out of it, we actually use, right? Whether you call it for effort compression, what we call it, a lot of it we use in out of day-to-day activities, which is again pertinent and relevant to organizations. So how do you ensure, right? I've seen a very good slide from you, Sumit, in terms of talking about a personal AI, enterprise, and also public, and you managing that single platform. This is what makes real sense, or is what we as a provider look forward to.
Fantastic. So Ashu, just writing on that, where do you, as a CIO, decide on where do you use endpoints? How do you decide, should I be using this on to run on device, on-prem, or should I use this in the cloud? Is there a specific decision that you use?
Yeah. From my lens, when we decide where the workload should be there, whether all of the three tenants that we talked about, having said that, truly the AI capabilities are there where decisions are being made or where data is there. There you truly have the infra going in over there. But it's not a standard solution like edge versus cloud. It's not a binary answer. We need to look in from the solution standpoint. If the requirement is a multi-network latency is a very low or kind of you need a local devices to be connected, mostly on the medical as well as in the video surveillances and all, probably we'll have an endpoint to be taken edge over there. But where we have a data like, we have a IP patent and kind of a very sensitive data, we are dealing with that and we are in that business and we need to be having an on-prem kind of a solution where we need a scale, training and strategic investment can be scaled up. There we are going to cloud. That's the way we are looking in how the three tenants can help us to make a truly hybrid decision as per the solution requirement.
And so latency is definitely one aspect.
Yeah, correct. It will be all three as per the solution driving. Yeah.
What about data sovereignty, trust? I talked about trust when I was up. Are those other areas that you take into consideration?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe as I said, if the data sovereignty is very high, you're working on IP and patent data and all. Likewise, our business is like that. We have to be investing in on-prem, and customers today is not giving us an option to go to the cloud. Without any choice, we are there. But as I said, when we are dealing with the mining data, medicals and all, we are moving into the edge as well. Both the coexistence to be there. But having said that, we need to be AI responsible in terms of making the data sovereignty is on the edge.
Right. Irfan, I'm going to move to you. You've been coming to India a lot.
Yes.
You were here actually last week.
Yes.
I see you
Touring
very
around
often in
different
India.
cities.
And you love the food here.
Totally.
Totally, right? Yeah, I know you do. And hey, considering your work on services, your focus, where do you see Lenovo support India enterprises on their AI journey? And especially, I talked about the implementation aspect of it, right? So talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I will possibly really echo and leverage one of the slides that you have just fresh out on the screen, right?
I know which one, your favorite slide, right?
Yes, my favorite,
Yes.
hybrid AI advantage.
Yes.
So there are largely three components of it. First and foremost, that Samir also talked quite extensively is about the AI factory. So basically, that imagine that when you implement AI, so we have all the relevant technology very handily available, kind of like in a box kind of setup. Then you have the AI library where Lenovo has been working with so many different solution providers and also customers across the world with tested cases where we can see very visible ROI coming back. And so therefore we can really draw upon some of these examples to actually help the customers to actually push through where is the investment that is needed that can yield the best kind of return. And really to wrap it up all is the AI services. And when I talk about AI services, is really a life cycle that we're talking about. So at the very beginning, in terms of the planning and design phases, what kind of technology choices make sense to the extent that get it implemented within 90 days, that how we can actually make a POC workable and proving that the technology can really bring the efficiency, the productivity, and also the output, a desired outcome that is needed to actually maintaining it, right? I think Steve just talked about how quickly the raise and the speed of AI development. And Ashus and I were actually talking about that at the backstage before we come on the stage, saying that every day we're learning new things. And so the pace of actually really keeping up with it, with the new kind of firmware, with the new kind of platform, with the new kind of LLM to be implemented, is also where our technical team will be able to actually advise and support the customer along. So I think there's just actually a lot of facets where we are bringing the value to our customer above and beyond just the technology itself.
Thank you. Thanks, Fan. So, Bhaskar, just writing on this, we talked about a lot of demand here, and you're in the forefront of it, right? And you're saying AI's power compute demands, they seem to be rising. How are you, the cloud and platforms adopting to support this efficiently? The second thing I would write on this is we talked about energy. And energy is a huge currency right now. Steve talked about this also. It's scary that if we have to decide between powering a home or a data center, right? So we obviously have to do something about it. And talk a little bit about that. How are you seeing that as a challenge also?
Yeah, very much in terms of the power. All right, Steve actually had a couple of pertinent slides. One of it, we had seen the users, right, from a 0 to 1.5 billion monthly users. It's scary. Where does all the AI compute coming from? I mean, obviously, it's a lot of the global hyperscaler as of now. But with the data sovereignty, Indian government initiatives to build some of this out of India, and the total overall capacity, what we see in India, which has been consumption, all the data centers as of today is less than a giga. And we are talking about multi-gigas to be set up. Though there's a policies which talk about building in dollar, there's going to be multiple challenges what we see with hyperscalers making announcements of a giga units, Indian players like TCS, Jio also are making announcements and all. It's really a challenge, not just into the power, how fast can you scale? Because the AI journey is taken off. There's no way you can think back, or did we do it or not? You already missed it. That's one thing we see. And there could be another thing, which I thought I'll just bring it because seen some of it, especially in US, there's going to be a backlash because of this providers coming in. They're worried that what happens to the tariff. In India, it may not be the story because a lot of it is a subsidized power. But industrial wise, we see challenges in terms of lead times, especially we just hear the RAM story. But if you really look at from the data center perspective, the equipment has jumped to 40 weeks lead times for most of the equipment to procure them. And the scale we are talking about to set it up, yes, it's all good. Are we really taking the pace is where the challenge we see it.
And what sort of infrastructure choices are you seeing that are shaping cloud economies?
No, obviously there are a lot of things which has really made the change. One, we all know that AI systems consume tons of power. Obviously, they'll dissipate so much of heat. Liquid cooling is one, which really makes a difference, right? And the second important factor we see is also, especially we heard from you in terms of the GPU architecture.
Yeah.
That will really make some of the changes. And unless we adapt this path, I'm sure the cost of using AI can even be exorbitant for a lot of them to adapt.
Right. And liquid cooling is, you're right. And Scott's going to come up later and talk a little bit about that. Obviously, that's areas that, really can help energy. Ashu, moving to you, again, from a CIO's lens, we talked about little small pilots. Steve recommended take teams, do stuff. There's pilots, but what's the critical barriers you face when moving AI from pilots into production? Obviously, you want to take, you don't want them to continue to be science projects. You want them to go into production. What are those challenges?
No, definitely. As I said, from my lens standpoint, AI is not in innovation right now. It's a industrialization right now. It's no more innovation. I see three critical challenges what I am facing it day in day out practically. the data quality is far more worse right now. While you're doing LLMs and everything, you're using a native LLMs, but having said when it comes to the data, we are far more poor on that. That's the key driver, is not pushing it back to the production right now. Second thing on the manageability point of view, what I see that who will be managing the entire your AI infra, whether it's the data science team or IT team or it's a business team who will be managing the entire scale. While you are in pilot, probably it is everything is informal, but we're moving to a production. It's a, momentum is not there. That's the second key challenge. And third, I see that there is a less amount of a focus is there on security, risk compliances, and the data leakage and governance, responsible AI as well. There, I could see that pilot, it is not much aggressive, but that is becoming a hindrance while moving to the production. People are having a less focus around. The three key challenges, but I see that moving to a production, it making a little more difficult.
Do you see, you know, when I go around, I've spoken to a few CIOs and they'd say, yeah, once we get something, we get a certain app, which is great value. We think this is the best things in sliced bread, but the adoption's terrible. You know, employees basically are not using it in whatever form. Do you see that as a challenge?
No, that's not a challenge. One challenge is there. Maybe you need to be helping it out with there. How do we scale economy with the scale right now?
Right.
So while we were talking about production and making it to the industry, I see economy is also becoming a challenge. Probably we need help with you guys. How do we solve that problem? Yeah.
I think that's where it's very important to lead from the top to a very clear direction as to what we want to do with this. Okay, so Fan, you know, we've talked about measurable ROI, and you know, very often we talk to customers, what's the outcome? What do I do with this? And what's the gap between the ambition? You've spoken to a lot of customers. Some people want the moon. Some people are very, very pragmatic and say, this is what I want to do. So an AI ambition and actual execution.
Thank you for this question. I think sitting between the ambition and the execution are definitely many core elements that needs to come in place in order to make it work. And in Lenovo, when we are practicing AI ourselves, using AI ourselves, I think we largely summarize that there are a few critical elements that we need to be very cognizant and aware of. Number one is people, whether you have the right kind of people. As Steve said, you possibly only need 5 to 6 top-notch engineer, right? But still, you need people. And then the second bit is process. Do you have a good understanding of the process? Therefore, you can actually really see how the value is coming through, what needs to be actually streamlined and actually become more productive. And also whether that will become the competitive edge for the company that is worthwhile to continue to invest in. And then, of course, security is important, right? We talk about AI in the sense that AI is fueled by data, right? And so that's why I should talk about the fact that data cleanliness and readiness is still not there. And in the AI era, data become the ingredient and the fuel for all the models that we're talking about. So how we can actually put that security around it, right? And also, Pascal said, I've read through the ambition of and also the mission of next gen. How to make it secure, right, is also very critical. And only that then we talk about technology. So now that with that lens, you think about how the ROI comes in is really that how we can do it in a systematic way and disciplined enough way. And so therefore, I guess this is also where Lenovo is really investing a lot of money and also effort to actually do that transition and also that bridge. Again, talking about AI library, right? References that we can actually think about how the end product might look like. And then AI services, particularly AI fast start, really putting the power to make a POC in a quick time to test whether this is yielding power. And as Steve was saying, right, start small. And last but not least, once that idea is becoming really contestable, right, think big. And that's how you then go to the scale. And that's where AI Factory is coming in. Not only the fact that Lenovo is the only company that is providing pocket to cloud devices and infrastructure and infusing with AI technology in all the technologies that we are actually providing. But we are also very proud to launch the XIQ platforms, right? The XIQ platform that can help you to generate agents in minutes, working across multiple LLM, compare the notes and actually get the best outcome. And also the XIQ hybrid cloud platform that can make sure that your environment is protected, secured, and easy to manage. And
Thank
that's how we are seeing the
Yeah,
work.
I'm going to ask the same, Ashu, yourself, again, you've got projects, your ambition, what you want to do as an organization, what's realistic, and do you start with thinking of an ROI first, or do you see what's the outcome? Give me your perspective.
Yeah, I think my view is that three things. As I said, first we are focusing on talent mismatch. So we have a humongous target to. I think there is a mandate right now, 9,000 people to be trained at a matured level in next 9 months. That's the first target we have. We need to
It's
bridge
quite
the
a
gap
challenge,
of a
isn't it?
talent
That's quite a
mismatch.
challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
9
what are the
months.
challenges there. And second thing, we are driving a big change management wherever we have a visibility to take in production. We are doing a change management. That's the focus area. Third, I said having a lot of support is needed from you guys on the when we make a scale, how do we get economy out of that? That's the way the three, and it'll bring ROI accordingly.
Right. Anything you'd like to add, Bhaskar?
Maybe I'll just talk with terms of we being a cloud service provider
Yeah.
and providing AI services. We have seen that right from the cloud over a decade plus. Hybrid is a way forward. There's no other option, right?
Yeah.
There's never been a public cloud provider saying, I have everything with me, though they could be big. But we have seen the play for all of this in terms of virtual sovereignty, data providers within the country, and also there's a hybrid model all across. We see the same thing in the AI because we have been working, especially some organizations where the way forward is I can't let all this if it go to a public, right? I need to have it on-prem. How do we do it? And we talk to some of them in government. In fact, there is a different challenge. It's not just a private. They even talk about a air gap environments, right? Especially in the critical infrastructure places. And how are we adapting to that? Oh, the technology at one space, we see that it's rapidly progressing. But the other challenge, maybe as Asher sprint, is the people readiness, all right? How many are ready to adapt it? That's one gap. The infrastructure to do the underlying, there is also that challenge. But challenges have been always there, right?
Yep.
There's no way you'll hold on to that. That is when I think providers like us look forward to somebody like Lenovo's to handhold us in some of that to expedite what we are putting forward to all our customers.
So, Bhaskar, you said something interesting before we came on stage. We were talking about infrastructure, the cost, you were talking about all that. But one thing you said up there is that leverage a solution, leverage a technology, and you can get a big outcome. Do you want to just
In fact,
tell the audience
yeah,
what you told me?
in fact, no, it's not just to put the point across to anybody. I also see this challenge of price. Obviously, right? We all have. If price is only a determinant factor, I'm sure there should be only one model of a car, right? So I don't want to really put that analogy. What we are seeing is the disruption in the models of I sell you something and do you make a money out of it? We don't want to look at it. We are ready to work with organizations where we can even determine the whole of a business model in terms of outcome based. As simple. You make money, we make money along with you. As simple as that.
No, just in a lighter mode, I was having an offline conversation with him. He said some of these, I said cost is going up because of this AI, RAM, and other things. I'm surely it is impacting all of us here. He said, no, there is a way to be getting it, we faster delivery and all. Well, 2x profit will be coming in. I said, let to be seeing this in our balance sheet.
Obviously, it will happen.
So,
right? Somebody has
Yeah.
So we're coming towards the end of it, but a question I want to ask each of you is, what's your focus in the next 12 to 18 months? And cliche questions, what's keeping you up at night to make sure you're in the driver's seat of your organization to go and change this?
I don't think we do have a choice here. I think I used to tell my team and the stakeholder as well, whether it's a personal or professional, you have to marry with AI. Whether it's you drink, sleep, and thought, in all ways it should be there developing your skill on the AI. It could be the new for all of us, but as a country, I think we are behind. We have to catch up and move faster.
In fact, this is the other challenge, right? As a sales, you normally wait for business. This is a different challenge we have. We recently looked at one specific customer who wanted thousands of GPUs to be made available tomorrow, right? We are not able to cope up. And similarly, if you stretch in to get into the larger enterprise, mostly on the inferencing models, we are not ready, in fact, to really supply so much of it, is what we see. There could be other challenges of infrastructure, regulatory, and all, but the demand is so much. We are not really ready, especially in India, to deliver so much at the scale, is what we foresee. Maybe it's a good problem to have. We'll work with you to solve some of it.
But the market's so big, even if you're not ready with that, that itself is a huge growth, right? Van?
Last but not least, from my side, is definitely getting our name heard, and hopefully that you will take away that Lenovo is next to you and working with you and supporting you along the AI journey.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And I think for me, nothing keeps me up at night. I sleep well, but
I answer course 7 by 24,
I try to.
but with my virtual
Even if I
agent.
get my 6 hours, I try to. But no, it's definitely about customers' pain. To me, the happiest thing is that, with all of you, if we have a journey and then we help in getting an outcome, I think that's fantastic. And able to actually leverage a partnership, bring in an ecosystem. Because I do believe, and I think if you'd agree, is that AI is not about one organization. It takes a village. It's an ecosystem that builds. And Lenovo actually does an extremely good job in bringing that ecosystem together. So thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you. Thanks.
We could have gone on
Thank
much
you.
longer, but really appreciate this. Thank you. Thanks. Ooh. Thanks. Oh, we're going to get a picture. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to really quickly close this off so I can get Scott up here very, very quickly. Sorry, I'll let them go. Thank you. All right, so I want to talk about AI is really moving very quickly, as we know, from pilot to absolutely implementing it. So I want to talk to you about the CIO Playbook. So what we did was this is our 4th edition of the playbook. We talked to about 3,000 CIOs around the world, 920 in Asia Pacific. We went around the market here in India too, asked them what is it that they wanted. What is this? And this was done along with IDC. So it's an IDC report commissioned by us, 4th time, 920 CIOs and 10 markets, including India. And we did ask questions as to what's your focus area? And I kind of alluded to this earlier. The fact is 96% of CIOs came back, said plan to increase AI investments in 2026. So 2026, there will be an increase in AI investments. And, I'm not going to go through the India fact, but we're seeing that in India, that's also very, very high. A lot of CIOs, a lot of organizations are actually increasing from a percentage much, much more than some of the others. Now, 88% of them anticipate a positive ROI from AI in 2026. Now, we talked about ROI. The ROI for every dollar spent, versus actually the last year report, it was more than $3. It's actually come down. I think people have become a little more realistic that this is the ROI that I want, 2.85. India was still around 3. We in India, we like We like a better return on investment on our investments. So it was a little higher than the rest, but close to $3 is what they return. So basically, that's a good thing because CIOs are saying that if I am investing, I want a return on investment. It's getting away from those science projects. So that's very important. So usually we always say, you know, keep your phone in your pocket, you know, turn it off. I'm going to ask you all to take it out. Not take a picture of me. You can if you want though, but scan this. This CIO playbook will actually give you an enhanced insights into this fourth edition. It'll also give you aspects within India, what people are looking at, and it's going to give you an extreme detailed view of what segments, what sectors. If you're in manufacturing, you're in retail, it actually goes detailed into what are those actually outcomes that you can actually look at. So I'll keep that up for another second. People still going at it? All right. Okay, the phones are still up. I'll give you another couple of minutes. Okay, lovely. So do please download this. So with that, I'd like to you know, thank you all, and I'd like to welcome my good friend and focusing as I talked about inferencing. Our priorities is around inferencing. I'm actually very excited to invite Scott Patty, Vice President, ISG Offering Group, on stage. Welcome.
How's everyone doing? We doing okay? I can't hear anybody. We doing all right? All right. Well, I'm super excited to be here with you all. I'm super excited to be in Delhi, and I'm super excited to be surrounded by so many great partners and customers. I think this is a great place to have this conversation. It's been set up great for me. So, you know, thanks for everyone before me making my life easier. What I'm going to talk about is so much of the focus in the industry over the last 2 years has been around building AI, building models, developing models, and training models. And that's an important foundation for AI. But the real question is, what's the next wave? What comes next? And it's actually something that seems simple. It's using AI, using it at scale and at speed across all of the functions in your business. And the real question is, how do we do that? We do that by bringing AI to your data anywhere. And that's where AI inferencing comes in, turning trained models into action. Agents, chatbots, computer vision, all making decisions in milliseconds. But inferencing technology faces some well-known bottlenecks. Memory, we've heard about that today, latency, security, and energy. At Lenovo, we're solving for all of these challenges with purpose-built infrastructure designed to power AI at the speed and scale of modern business. The Lenovo AI inferencing servers provide robust, real-time AI inferencing close to your data with purpose-built Lenovo ThinkSystem and ThinkEdge servers. Today, I'm excited to share the most inferencing optimized portfolio in the industry. So now as we get to do some product stuff, hopefully you're excited about that. See what makes this all real. First, the ThinkSystem SR675i. Internally, we call this platform the Beast. It's optimized for high token throughput, low latency AI inferencing at scale. With Neptune liquid cooling, unmatched GPU density, and massive memory, it's enough to run a full LLM anywhere. It brings AI inferencing to where you need it the most. Next, the SR650i. We call this the sweet spot server for most inferencing workloads. It's engineered for peak performance and holds 5 AI inferencing world records. Let's think for a minute about a use case for this product. Let's think about financial services, where we can take fraud detection and shift it from reactive to real-time protection. Every card swipe, every login, every transaction being securely analyzed by advanced models and delivering agent-driven responses and remediation. The result? Your customers enjoy seamless, secure banking, and you get smarter, faster fraud detection. And finally, the SE455i. We call this the Anywhere Server, bringing AI inferencing to the edge, where data is generated, tokens are created, and decisions happen instantly. It's built for demanding environments and takes raw inputs like basic computer vision and turns it into proactive automated workflows. Let's again take another example. Let's talk about retail. You have an AI agent analyzing live video and real-time purchasing data. It's predicting inventory needs and seeing that a location in your store is running low. Automatically schedules an associate for restocking. And it does this without lag, without cloud delay. Just real-time intelligence powering smarter retail operations. The outcome, your shelves are stocked, your shoppers are helped instantly, and everyone is happy. In order to develop technology like the inferencing portfolio I just mentioned and the other products that we have at Lenovo requires deep technical expertise within our own organizations, within our R&D teams, our engineering teams. But just as important as that, it requires strong partnership across the industry. And one of our key partners in this journey is AMD. You can see behind me one of the many testimonials from some of our customers about this partnership. Testimonials like this and many more speak to the strength of the Lenovo and AMD partnership and to the possibilities it unlocks for our customers. But thankfully for you all, you don't have to just listen to me. We're really lucky to have Vinay Sinha, AMD's India leader, here with us today to share more about that vision. I'd like to invite Vinay up to the stage. Hey, Vinay.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
and thank you so much for the partnership. It's amazing work that we've been doing together for so many years.
Great partnership, absolutely. We have been there. We were there last year, edition 4, and we talked about the partnership. And in fact, we've gone strength to strength from that time. So I'm really excited to be here, and thank you for having me. And good afternoon to everybody.
It's absolutely great to have you. Just a couple questions as we have you up here. When you think about Lenovo and AMD, how do we help our customers separate real AI from the hype?
Yeah, outside the fact that you have the pocket to cloud, you heard about it from everybody on the floor, that very strong portfolio. But the thing that Lenovo and AMD do it very smartly is the fact that we don't talk about hyperboles. We still go and tell the customers, and I brought it up last year also, and in between, that not everything on AI means that you need to have brute power of GPUs. And what Lenovo does very smartly is that they have customized solutions where they can optimize data center CPUs where it is required, and use the GPU accelerations wherever it is required, like the Formula One. So I've seen that we have platforms coming out from your stable based on the AMD technology, which kind of caters to across the spectrum, and that is something which we are using to advantage, where the customers continue to have that choice of silicon diversity, and have practical, validated solutions to deploy at scale. So I think that's a clear differentiator.
Yeah, agree. One other thing, just talk about our partnership. A month ago, our collective bosses were on a stage a little bit bigger than this in Las Vegas, in the Sphere. And they were talking about a project called Helios and our coordination and partnership there. Why is that such an important milestone? And what does it mean to our partnership?
It's massive. You know, if people had the opportunity, I'm sure that most of you would have read about the Lighthouse product that we launched, the Helios. Uh, you know, just a small brief summary. Helios is the rack stack solution on AI infrastructure, which kind of has the complete gamut of AMD products, which is the GPUs, CPUs, advanced networking solutions, to get a centralized super exascale supercompute, which fundamentally enables a solution end to end. You know, Sumer talked about plug and play. We're looking at something like that. So, you know, our customers do not need to be challenged on going and driving other components to get this fixed. So it's ready from day one to get it up. And it's really important that, you know, we're talking some serious supercompute here. I mean, we talked about XXA from 1.4 to 2.8 nearly. We're talking about 72 GPUs, each capable of 400 GB of HBM4. It's massive. I mean, the compute need as it goes up, and people are starting to talk about Yotta scale, which I just came to know 2 days back, it is 1 followed by 24 zeros. That kind of data is what is going to get churned out. And as it gets important and we see India taking lead, I think it's very important that we get our act together down here. And again, the alignment here has been so good. It's not only about the speed and the time to market. I think more importantly, it's aligning on the systems, the silicon, as well as the software to get it aligned with the Lenovo. I'm really excited to get it launched with
Yeah,
Lenovo.
isn't it amazing? You know, like if you're a nerd like me and you think about 20 years ago, you were excited when you can plug like a USB CD-ROM into your computer and it would work, and now we're talking about plug and play with a supercomputer. It's amazing. Okay.
In fact, I'll just add that a week from now we're having the AI summit, and you get to see the beast live on the AMD booth. So if you guys are there, please take some time out and get to see the Helios in person. Yeah.
All right, Vinay, before I let you leave, where do you see our joint innovation going next? What do you think is next?
Lenovo continues to be the top OEM for us worldwide. We've seen that. We've gone strength to strength, like I said. We continue to stay the course. The new products which are being launched, the acceptability is going up. We've seen, and it's not only on the Helios, but we're talking about the AI PCs where we have a very, very prominent portfolio with you. We continue to rule the roost on the data center CPU. We're talking about 128 and beyond cores coming up, and we continue to have the advantage to market together. And there's a huge endorsement from all the customers on the products that we bring to. So I'm really excited. And when we meet for the next edition next year, I'm pretty sure there will be so much more to share with this August gathering.
Well, Vinay, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for the partnership. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vinay. Okay, so going back to where I started, and I mentioned that AI hype had been around training and inferencing, and it's still an important part of the AI journey. We're seeing a shift, and cloud scale AI isn't just about more compute. It requires specialized acceleration, massive infrastructure, and a new way of thinking about what we call as AI factories. That brings us to another of our incredible partners, NVIDIA, and our work around the Lenovo AI Cloud Gigafactory. Lenovo delivers full stack hybrid AI factory solutions, from NVIDIA accelerated compute, networking, and software to rapid, repeatable deployment. From an empty site to a functioning multi-gigawatt AI gigafactory, these gigafactories enable repeatable, rapid, and energy-efficient deployments powered by NVIDIA accelerated platforms. The result is speed, scale, and lower risk, helping AI cloud providers deliver specialized AI use cases faster. But achieving this level of scale and efficiency raises another critical question, something that's come up a couple times today, is how do you manage power and heat in AI factories of this size? So when operating at this scale, cooling becomes a strategic decision. Fortunately for you all, at Lenovo, we anticipated this, and something we've been working on for a long time. We created Neptune. Lenovo Neptune is liquid cooling, purpose-built to remove heat where it matters most. With over a decade of leadership and 40 patents, Neptune delivers warm water cooling. Notice I said warm water, that's important. Directly to CPUs, GPUs, memory, and other aspects of the system that needs to be cooled, enabling higher performance with dramatically lower energy usage, sometimes as much as 40%. So as I wrap up, and as you've seen throughout the day, Lenovo is building a cohesive inferencing fabric that spans from the edge, core, to the cloud, bringing AI closer to data and decisions wherever they happen. With the ThinkEdge SE455i, ThinkSystem SR675i, and SR650i, backed by Lenovo AI Services and Premier Support Plus, customers can deploy, scale, and sustain real-time AI across any industry in any environment. This is how Lenovo moves AI from experimentation to execution. This is how intelligence becomes action. And this is how Lenovo sets the stage for the next era of AI. Thank you for having me. Appreciate y'all. See you soon.
Thank you, Scott. Innovation continues across devices and personal intelligence. To showcase Lenovo's latest advances in personal AI, please welcome back Mr. Shailendra Katyal.
Okay, that was some serious stuff. Moving from gigawatts to something which is a little lighter and which will hopefully wake up the audience a little more. Moving to the personal AI part. We spoke about these three parts. There's whatever is happening in the cloud, public AI, enterprise AI. It was a rich discussion we just had. Thanks, Scott, Sumir, Fan, and our panelists for that engaging discussion. So what do we do on the personal AI side, right? And we saw Steve talk on stage on this being one of the fastest deployment of technology in consumers' hands, 500 million odd people, many people doing it almost on a daily basis and also paying for it. So we are calling it not just a evolution, but a revolution, and revolution because of the pace of change. It's changing very quickly. What was relevant maybe a quarter ago is not so relevant now. And it's massive in terms of adoption and scale. And it's been building up for a while, right? Over the last few years since the rise of ChatGPT. Now imagine of us as customers, right, on our own behavior at work and at play. We were doing very basic search and recommendations, right? You wanted some insight, you wanted to know what stuff to buy or how to plan your travel. It was very basic search and recommendation that that machines were able to do for us. Over the last 2 years, it moved very quickly to generative and actually assistive, right? A lot more richer information, a little more predictive, that the machine could read or the LLM could read what you really want and give you a reactive recommendation. Very quickly over the last few quarters, it's moved into AI all around us. There's this talk of ambient AI, that there'll be multiple devices that you would carry and everything is capturing the context around you. And over time, this has become agentic, and it's not too far away. People are saying in the next 1 year or so, it will become autonomous at level, right? You're not just asking the machine to do something for you. The machine is recommending what you should be doing and also performing the task for you. Let me illustrate that with an example which would be familiar to all of us. If I want to book a doctor appointment today, is it a pleasant experience? No, because appointments are hard to get. Doctor-patient ratios are not where it should be. Long wait times, and you do it in a reactive way. And once you land up at the doctor's place also, you don't have all the information, or the doctor may not have the information to make the consultation really productive. Now I go through annual health checkup, all that comes as a PDF document. And even if I have that record over the last 5 to 6 years, can somebody track that over time and how the movement has been or the health markers and make it really a little more predictive and intelligent for the consultation to be really impactful? So it is right now friction driven. Data pathways are not very clear. But we do see that with technology, this is shifting very quickly. And some of you in the room represent the healthcare industry. We do see that doctors are also adopting to newer technologies quite rapidly. Now imagine a world if you have all this data. Now I'm wearing a smartwatch. This is capturing my health information all the time. Imagine if there's all the health records that I have over the last 5 to 6 years, they're all in one place. And it becomes a lot more proactive. that I'm told by my super agent, my personal agent, it's time for you to go to the doctor. And by the time I reach the doctor, he already has all my past records. He knows what we discussed last time. Because what I'm going for is not just a medicine. I'm going for care. I'm going for for the comfort of talking to an expert and coming out with a solution. So in the short window of 10, 15 minutes that we get with the doctor, it's not so much about understanding what the issue is, because the issue is already understood by the time I arrive. And the focus is a lot more on actual care and consultation. So all this is evolving. We can imagine this scenario not just in healthcare, we can imagine in the way we are booking our holidays. If I look at my daughter, Gen Zs are taking to this a lot more quicker than some of the older folks on the wrong side of 50 are. And you spoke about it's time to retire if you're not adopting to this space very, very quickly. But yeah, we spoke about Gen Z being digital natives. If you look at Gen Alpha, they will be AI natives, because it's just not about having a device. It's actually about being very, very productive and creative with all the AI tools at your disposal. So with that quick context, we want to tell you how Lenovo is enabling all of this. Okay. Clearly, technology is not my friend today. So yeah, as we talk about how Lenovo is enabling this personal AI vision to come alive, it's my pleasure to welcome my close collaborator, Santosh Vishwanathan, Vice President and Managing Director of Intel India.
Thank you. Thank you. You said health and steps and all that, so I took the long
Yeah, we
route
made you run
back
around.
here.
Yeah, so before we start talking,
Yeah.
I want to share with the audience a product that we have co-imagined, co-engineered together. I know you're a big fan of this device. You've spoken about this
Yep.
in the past. So can you have the video, please? So it's a wonderful range called Aura, which we've co-engineered with Intel over the last few years. The latest version X9 will be ready on shelf in the next few months, and it has all the standard AI features, runs Copilot Plus, 45 tops. And what is also interesting is it has our own Lenovo agent, which is preloaded. It's called AI Now, and I'll tell you why it's important. But enough about the product. Uh, Obviously, we've seen this entire AI diffusion, as you may call it, right? Moving from the cloud to inferencing to now in your hands. So would you want to like to share how Intel is looking at this AI diffusion and AI actually becoming democratic?
Yeah, and you know, first I would like to start. I think it's a pleasure being here. So thank you for having me here and having the Intel team here. And I think the concept that you introduced in the beginning, the hybrid AI, I think it's such an exciting concept. But more than all the three different pillars as an independent vector, where there's public AI, there's personal AI, and then there's enterprise AI, I think there's a connection among all three vectors as well. Okay. So the way I view it is that hybrid AI is not an isolated AI view that you need to have, where you're actually thinking, okay, should I first think public? Should I think enterprise? And should I think personal? I think the combination of all of them is very, very important for us.
Yes.
Now, I'll explain why that is key, because when you look at personal AI, it's an extension of not just the enterprise AI vectors or the public AI vectors. It also combines with who you are or what you are, right? That's what truly personal AI is. And that's what I think technology needs to unlock. And when we look at personal AI, I think the number one reason that we'll go and say, hey, use an AI PC is primarily saying that, hey, the whole vector of security, your data, your personal data, and all those aspects that I think the AI PC calls out for is important. But for a market like India, there's also a cost vector that becomes even more important, right? Because for us, the frugality of application of AI is as important as AI itself. So when Sumir was talking about the $3 return that Indians expect. I think it's much more higher than $3. I don't think we'll be 20 cents higher than what APJ expects. That frugality can happen if you start to look at the edge and you start to look at the AI PC also in your infrastructure layout, right? So that when your employees, when your organizations don't need to send data, massive amounts of data back to your data center or your cloud, you're actually saving costs, right? You're actually having adoption at a much larger scale. So a smart AI policy, which covers the hybrid AI vectors, is not just an isolated AI policy, but also goes and says, for a market like India, how much more of the personal AI or on-device AI that we can go unravel and use for us to be effective.
Yeah. No, great insight, Santosh. And globally, we see great fitment and alignment in our collective vision of bringing AI to all, but also coming closer home. And I hear you speak a lot more passionately about it. We are in India, a lot of expectation around the India AI Summit. What role do you see within Intel for India to play in terms of frugal AI? You hinted at that. I know you're passionate about the impact it can have on education. So, what is Intel's view on how AI can really come out of India and impact the world at large?
I think there's a massive model of AI adoption. I think Steve alluded to that. Like the West has a model that is to go build capacity, right? And if you go look at it, I think last year the spends, if you go look at just what US had and China had, and you compare to what India has, I mean, $200 billion of data spend in the US last year alone, $100 billion in China, we're at $30 billion of spend. I don't think we can match the race to spends. So I think our biggest success factor in India is that if I can't match to race to spend, then how do I go and harness the best resource that we have, which is data at scale? So if data at scale is the best resource we have, if we can harness that in the most frugal way, then I think we'll be phenomenally successful compared to anybody else. And there's ample opportunities to go do that, right? Like my favorite example is education. We cannot have enough intelligence in front of kids to go train them for an AI world. We just cannot. Like, how many teachers will you produce? How many teachers will you train? Your healthcare is another good example. We cannot have enough doctors who have enough time to go and look at your health history and then tell you, hey, it's not just medication, but it's also lifestyle that I want to go help you change. So if all these factors is not enough for us, we need intelligence at scale for a market like India. And that intelligence at scale requires us to reimagine architecture, infrastructure, and the hybrid AI framework in a very different way. And I think that's what is really exciting for us to be working together in India.
Absolutely. So you can see the excitement between two global collaborators on bringing AI for all. Santosh, if you can stay back on stage while I continue the conversation. So we've moved from the cloud to data centers, large gigawatts, to talking about PCs. And now what brings it closest to our hands is actually our phones and wearables, right? So we have AI built in. I do want to showcase one video for our latest flagship, which is the phone that I'm carrying. If I can have the video, please. So we are very excited with this launch. It's the latest flagship from Motorola. We already had the Moto Razr range, and I'm sure many of you are fans of the Moto Razr franchise. But we did realize a lot of people have become comfortable with this candy bar format, and hence we've decided to launch this. It is truly signature in terms of experience, very premium finishes, ultra thin, one of the best rated cameras available in this class. And we are calling it signature because guess what? We've bundled a lot of concierge services, which is what you would get in your normal metal card as part of the phone. So it's truly worthy of a CXO audience like yourself. Do get your hands on it. I'm sure my Motorola team will be happy to pass on a early bird discount for this audience. What I'm also wearing is a Moto watch, and this is to make the point that very few companies have this ability to have AI embedded across so many devices. Both these devices have Moto AI, which was also developed by our Bangalore team. And this can all work in a very seamless, smart, connected way to transfer your personal data. So moving on, we've seen again servers, PCs, phones. But how do we bring it all together? Because I shared this example of moving from a very basic search and recommendation to something which becomes your personal twin, something which becomes autonomous. It becomes a super agent, your partner in improving your productivity. And to talk a little more about this, let me invite another great collaborator with us, Bhaskar Basu, Chief Partner Officer from Microsoft India. Welcome, Bhaskar.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and before we start talking about the role of agents in our lives, I do want to introduce the thing that we are most proud of. We showcased it at CES this year, earlier in January. It's a demo version right now, but very soon it will come into production. So by next quarter or so, it will be available and in your hands. Can we have the video, please? Yeah, so Qira has been ground up. I shared earlier that currently our PCs have something called AI now. Our Moto devices have something called Moto AI. Now we are blending it all together into one super agent, and this will become your personal twin. It will become your super agent. And very few companies have this ability to talk cross devices and do it and it's on device. It's fully secure data because not all of your data should go into the cloud, but it'll still help you improve your productivity and your creativity. So obviously, Bhaskar, Microsoft has been one of the pioneers, the frontier organization in AI adoption in the world, both enterprise and personal. And Copilot Plus is practically what's been driving the industry. So how do you see this world? There are these agents like Qira also coming through, and obviously Copilot Plus is the gold standard right now. How do you see the multi-agentic world?
Sure. First up, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And SK, thank you for having us here. Extremely excited, extremely excited about the amazing conversations that we saw today. A lot was spoken about AI, but more importantly about agentic AI. And I think if I take a step back and just kind of peel the onion, what exactly is agentic AI, right? And to us, really agents are fundamentally intelligent, context-aware digital actors that can reason, that can infer, that can communicate, and fundamentally act on our behalf, right? I think that's the big shift. And we at Microsoft feel that AI is shifting from being an AI that responds to AI that acts. And I think that's a big shift. Now, coming back to Microsoft, I think our strategy builds on truly building a multi-agentic future, which works on top of the cloud, which works across devices, and connects all kinds of different experiences. So to your question, the Copilot stack and the Copilot Plus PCs are a fundamental part of the Copilot stack. It's all about ensuring that different parts of this agentic ecosystem, an ecosystem is getting created, and different kind of digital agents are coming together, conversing, communicating, collaborating, and fundamentally driving outcomes. And I think that's what is the beauty of this overall agentic collaboration between Qira and the Copilot stack. And for us, I think Qira is an amazing, personalized, ambient orchestrator which helps us drive experiences across devices, across tablets, PCs, laptops, wearables, what have you. And on the other side, Copilot is fundamentally an enterprise-wide experience layer. It's basically builds on cloud-connected reasoning. It's about enterprise security. It's about enterprise-grade orchestration. And fundamentally, when you look at it, Qira is personal, it's ambient, it's across devices. Copilot stack is working on the cloud. And fundamentally, Qira and Copilot coming together, driving unified experiences and fundamentally making our lives, your and my lives better by working together.
Yeah. No, fully aligned, Bhaskar, and thanks for sharing that insight that it will not be just one solution. And I was sharing in another forum. And I asked the question when we guys got our first smartphone, how many applications were downloaded onto that? Maybe one or two. And if you ask the question today, At a minimum, you will have 30, 40 applications. The same question, how many of you have downloaded some AI agent on your phone? Maybe the count is 1, 2, 3. Will it become many fold? There will be specific use cases for which AI agents will also come through, apart from the broad-based use cases of Copilot Plus or Qira as we speak. But they will build on each other, and sure, the intent is to make our lives far more productive and creative. Again, coming closer home, the topic that we've all been discussing, India taking center stage. So what is Microsoft's view? How are you leveraging? We heard about the big announcement of multi-billion-dollar investments from Satya coming into India. So what's your view? How will you leverage India for developing AI for the future?
Yeah, sure. So let me just kind of unravel the announcement a little bit deeper. So we announced a $17.5 billion investment to India, to the digital and AI economy of India. This builds on a $3 billion commitment that Microsoft made earlier in the last calendar year. And really, there are four vectors here, SK. I think the first one is truly to create country level, nation level AI infrastructure. The second is in terms of expanding our operational and data center capacity. The third is around creating truly skilling at scale. We're promising the skilling of 2 crore, that's 20 million Indians by 2030. And the fourth, and probably one of the most important vectors, is to basically create a very strong sovereign fabric for creating the next generation AI workloads. So it's more than just a financial commitment. It's about truly believing in the future of an AI-ready nation. There's a tremendous amount of aspiration that the government of India has. We are completely aligned. We're looking at training people, skilling people, creating infrastructure, expanding our capacity, and really giving a tremendous amount of choice to individuals and to nations and to enterprises alike, on top of which today's next generation sovereign workloads can be built on top of. So fundamentally, SK, it's about investing in the future of an AI-ready India.
Yeah. So clearly, Sumir spoke about this earlier. There's great potential in AI, but it does take a village to raise a child, and it does require an ecosystem to help really bring smarter AI for all, which is the, I think, shared vision between all of us. So if I can request all of us to come together and showcase the devices to the audience as well.
Love to.
Can we have the products on stage, please?
It's me. Thanks.
Just on this.
Oh, this way. Okay. This Windows.
Yes. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you. So moving on from devices, you heard Matt in his opening talk about our F1 partnership, right? And the partnership goes way beyond just putting a logo on a car. We are actually the technology partner, the petabytes of data which move, the fan experience, the entire broadcast experience runs on Lenovo technology. And this year we are taking it to another level because we are powering the biggest sporting spectacle on this planet. We are technology partners for FIFA World Cup 2026. And to talk a little more about it, may I invite our global brand officer, Jeff Schaefer, on stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Hello. What a great opportunity this is. The last couple of days, we've gotten to see so many interesting things. Consumer products yesterday, enterprise solutions, enterprise products today, and I have the easiest job at Tech World because I get to talk about sports. I get to tell you, like Shailendra just said, how we're going to take all of this technology that you just saw and deliver the biggest event in the history of humanity with global football. Sports are great. They bring people together like nothing else does. And we are so proud to be the official technology partner for FIFA, which means that we will be the technological backbone for that other World Cup. Bigger ball, no hands, no bats. The Men's World Cup in the US, Canada, and Mexico this summer, and the Women's World Cup in Brazil next year. And when we say the biggest event in the history of humanity, there's a lot of truth behind that. 6 billion people are going to watch this event. 2 billion people are going to watch the final. There will be more data transmitted on the day of the Men's World Cup final than on any other day in human history. And our partners know this at Meta, at Instagram, at X, because the last biggest day they had was the last Men's World Cup. We are the official PC, the official notebook, the official laptop, the official gaming machine. We're the official smartphone, we're the official server, the official storage provider, the official IT services and IT solutions provider, the official AI services and AI solutions provider for the biggest event that's ever happened. Normally that takes 8 or 10 companies. FIFA chose one. They chose Lenovo. And they chose us because we share a common vision. Smarter AI for all, smarter technology for all, is fundamentally the same as FIFA's vision for growing the game, democratizing the sport, leveling the playing field, bringing it to more people in more places and making it more competitive. When YY, our chairman, and Gianni Infantino, our president, got together to make this deal, they knew that this wasn't just about slapping a logo on a pitchboard, that it started with technology, with real technology integration. And I'm happy to be able to share some of that with you because this integration is going to help them deliver 104 games. 104 games in 16 cities, 104 games in just about a month and a half. And at each and every one of these, it has to be perfect. The only metric we have with FIFA is it's got to be perfect every single time. And that's not an easy thing to do, but we plan to do it because we know from experience, we've already worked with F1. We've already worked with a number of other sports. Maybe one day we'll work with cricket. We'll see. And we do this for a few different reasons. First, we want to show people that we have the full stack of technology. We're not just a device maker anymore. Second, we need people to understand that we are a global AI powerhouse. You've heard us talk maybe a little about AI here today. And third, we want to deliver real technology and real innovation. FIFA needs us to do that, and we need them. It's a really great mutual relationship. And we have lots of ways that we plan to do that. And when we think about it through a few different lenses. What can we deliver for what we call the football family? So that's FIFA, that's the players, that's the managers, that's the coaches. What can we do for the broadcasters, the people that are going to bring those 6 billion people pictures and sounds that are going to make them laugh and cry and scream and yell and swear? And what can we do for those fans who are doing all that laughing and yelling and screaming and crying and swearing? How can we help them experience the game differently? And there's a few different examples of this because some of them cross over. Last summer, we had the Club World Cup in the US. So this is all the big teams, the Manchester Cities and the Real Madrids. Chelsea won, if anybody cares. And one of the things they asked us to do, they were having an issue with calling offsides, making it happen quickly, making it happen accurately. And they have a technology we're looking at called semi-automated offsides. We don't need to go into a lot of detail about that. They were not going to be able to do it. They were not going to be able to implement it at the Club World Cup. And Lenovo ISG came in and said, yes, you can. And I remember I was in a parking lot at MetLife Stadium talking to the guy who runs technology there. Because of ISG, they were able to implement this technology so that instantaneously, when the data set a guy's offsides, a flag goes up. Previously, they had tournaments with delay after delay after delay. This tournament, they had one delay. So who's that good for? It's good for the fans. It's good for the players. It's good for the broadcasters. We're going to be scanning every player that plays in the World Cup and creating hyper-realistic avatars. If you watch football, when they do an offsides, when they do a replay, the avatar doesn't exactly look like the guy who's on the field. We're going to make that better because the details matter. A goal can be decided by a centimeter. If you guys watch football, there was a goal a few years ago that eliminated Germany from the World Cup by that much. Details matter. Small margins matter. And so we're going to scan every single player and we're going to use that. You're going to see that on the broadcast. And it's not, we are not there to make the calls, but we're going to give the officials the confidence that the calls are right. And that's where technology can help. Then we've got Football AI Pro. This levels the playing field. This democratizes the sport. Big teams travel with 30 analysts. Small teams may travel with one. FIFA has 500 billion pages of data, and nobody else has access to that except for us through this to help their teams compete better. So now a small team can have the match analytics they need. A manager can look at the way a team is playing. A player can train better because of Football AI Pro. And we will end up developing a version of this that's for the fans. So we're working with FIFA to take this impressive sort of set of tools to mine all of that data and put it in your hands too. So next time you want to know how somebody should play or why they lost, we'll help you get that answer. We're working with FIFA on referee cam. So the camera that sits on the referee's ear, it'll have a Lenovo logo on it. By the way, as the marketing guy, I'm happy about that. We are using our same image stabilization technology, using AI, the same tools that we use for F1, the world's most technologically advanced sport, to make sure that there's no jitter. So there'll be a little jitter, because you want that. But this will put people right in the middle of the action, and we will deliver this better and faster than we've ever done it before. And by the way, if you happen to be a Lenovo or Motorola customer, you'll get early access to some of this footage that your friends can't get. Means you can grab that clip and send it to them and say, hey, did you see how we beat you? Right, so we're going to deliver that to our customers. We're launching new products. You've seen some of them, branded and tailored to the football fan. The Motorola Razr, FIFA edition. The Lenovo Legion, FIFA edition. You'll see tablets, you'll see other devices. We hope that we can generate some excitement. It makes people feel like they're part of the club. It makes people feel like they're part of the crowd, and it connects them to the game they love. And these products are important. This one will be coming out probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So for us, this is the biggest opportunity that we've ever had. It leverages everything that we do, from the smartphone to the laptop, from the desktop to the server, the storage, the intelligence in the cloud, everything that we can deliver, and it's going to help transform this game. It's going to help bring it to more people. It's going to help make it more entertaining. It's going to help people engage more with the sport that they love. And we are incredibly proud of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity coming this summer and again next year in Brazil with the women. And we hope that when you are watching football, when you're watching the World Cup because there's no cricket on TV, that you'll think about Lenovo, you'll see our signs on the pitch boards, you'll be holding your Motorola phone, you'll be engaging on your laptop, and hopefully you'll be getting some of that ref cam video before all your friends do. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much for having me here, and let's go football.
Thank you, Jeff. We once again welcome Mr. Shailendra Katyal to close the afternoon and lay it out what's in store for the rest of the evening.
I promise this is the last time you're seeing me on stage for the day. I think we've kept time well. It was the last 5 minutes of briefing. So we've shared a lot with you, right? But to sum it all up, there's no better slide than what we started with, right? Clearly, it's India for India. It's India for the world. And if we are able to do it for a large global sport like F1 or for FIFA, I'm sure we can do it for you. And which is the expectation that you've heard a lot from us. Give us a chance. You've been, thank you for your business. You've been giving us support over the years. But there's a lot to be done for real AI adoption, real ROI coming out of AI, and to really make it productive for all of us. Just a quick brief for the rest of the day. We do have breakouts. Some of you have pre-registered for these breakouts. So somebody will guide you to the respective rooms. Both the rooms are on this side, Studio 1, Studio 2. So where you can continue the discussion in a more deeper way on the topic of your choice. We have these demo zones which will come alive briefly. You will have the soccer experience, you have a gaming experience, you have a creator zone, we have a servers, the Neptune cooling demo. So engage with the technology available for all of us to have a feel of. If you are short of caffeine, we have a True Scale Cafe also somewhere around here. So you can. Many of you are familiar with this. Nothing represents India better than Indian Ocean. This is our last act of the evening. The doors open at 7:30. And I've seen them perform earlier. They do put up a great show. So I hope you stick around after all the serious stuff. This will be the nice break that you get for about an hour. And then we are around. There's a networking dinner that we've kept for all of you, for our customers and partners. So do give us your feedback. Do spend time with us. And let us help you bring smarter AI for all. Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Shailendra. The breakout sessions will begin in the next 30 minutes. We're now open for tea and coffee. Ladies and gentlemen,